Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do not go where the path may lead, instead go where there is no path and leave a trail." This is the startup where we inspire businesses. Welcome back. I'm now joined by Jibril Abdi and Evans Kirago of Mekan Games. They like pronouncing the name Mekan Games. Karibu sana, Evans.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Tell me more about Mekan Games.
Mekan Games is basically a video game development company. What we do is we make video games, be it for your computer, be it for your phone, be it for your website. That's basically what we do. Yeah, and a bit of animation too.
Wow. So I can say during my leisure time, I can play the games.
Yeah, if you have a phone that can access the Play Store, just go get our games, play and enjoy them. Yeah.
You guys are students at the university. How did the journey start?
For us, as Mekan, as a team, we started way back in about last year. Yeah, it's been like a year now. We launched.
The concept started around 2013.
Yeah, 2013 basically. Yeah.
So basically everything is a startup.
Yeah. Okay. In 2013, I had just finished high school. We had both actually finished high school, and I attended a college where we were taught basic programming. By basic, I mean making websites, but then we used to have Nokia apps. The Symbian, remember the Nokia phone?
Yeah, the Nokia phone Symbian.
Yeah, we used to have those ones. So we were taught how to program for those phones. We used to make basic applications, an application that will maybe get your contacts and just display them. So after that, we learned USSD, and it was then that I realized personally that this wasn't as much as a challenge. I wanted to program more and more and learn more and more. So I decided to make a video game. Back then, we didn't even have the idea of Mekan Games. This was just me wanting to make a video game to prove to myself, actually, that it's possible as a Kenyan, because no one had made a Kenyan game at that time. So I took about 5 of my friends who were not necessarily in the current team. We decided to make a video game. And 3 months down the line, we had a video game.
Okay, what did you need that particular time?
At that time, basic stuff. We just needed the skill, which we learned from YouTube, really, because there are no schools teaching game development in Kenya. Yes. We learned from YouTube and a laptop and just the idea, and from there you're pretty much set to go. Yeah.
Jibril, you met Evans Kirago. How did he convince you to come on board and be part of Mekan Games?
We started off jokingly at first. Just wanted to, we were bored with school. He was like, by the end of my second year, even if it's dropping out, I just want to start my own company. If it's going good for me, I don't want to start hustling and looking for work. So it started off as a joke. But when he actually chose to come and started, I was like, why don't we do it? Because there's no other game development company there used to be one, but we were like, let's start it off. We don't have anything to lose. Let's see. Because Kenya isn't that into developing of games, because we mostly download games from outside. So we're like, why can't we make our own game? So I was like, it's okay, fine.
How much capital did you start the business with?
It will depend on how you categorize it. If you're going to put a number on a figure on our scale, that's pretty high, because we invested a lot of time in learning the scale and a lot of effort. But physical cash, you just require a laptop. If you have that, it's on a zero budget. But the scale is it's the most valuable, I think.
Wow. Yeah. So you started with intellectual capital.
Yes.
Now, building the idea to where it is, with which game did you start with?
We started with a game that we launched on 21st November last year, a game called Wings of Fury. Wings of Fury was, the one that went big, yeah. Wings of Fury was a racing game that was an aerial racing game where you fight over other planes as you race to the finish line. After launching Wings of Fury, we were shocked, really. We were just a small company, me, Jibril, and a couple of other friends. But seeing something that we had created, in my room, I'm just alone, go so huge and have so many downloads from Nigeria and other places, that was already amazing for us. To create a moment, not really a really fun game, just a moment where you capture your mind for just 5 seconds. That was our goal. And Wings of Fury really put us out there, you know, as Mekan Games, it really put us out there, and we are now where we are. Yeah.
The experience of developing the game, the first game, that is Wings of Fury. What was the experience?
I'd say it's a mixture. It's a mixture of having so much motivation to make a video game, and at the same time being really confused. You know, you're doing something that hasn't been done before, so your emotions are basically all over. You're like, one morning you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to code this game. You wake up fully motivated and you write a couple of lines of code, do a bit of animation. The next day you're like, oh man, why am I really doing this? I mean, this is so much work. Why am I doing it? I should just be in school and just finish my degree, get a job and live life, you know.
Now, talking about the numbers, the experience for the first, that is Wings of Fury. Jibril, how many downloads did you guys hit?
We didn't expect to hit that much. Honestly, we did not. We didn't even expect to get recognized by people outside the country, like Nigeria and Ireland. We have like 25,000 right now, 25,000 downloads in the game. And we honestly speaking, we were like, at most we're gonna get, if you go really far, 1,000. We're like 1,000. Yeah. But it's we surpassed our expectations, and it goes to prove, even if you have your low days and you're like, we can't do this, you just see the bigger picture and you're like, at the end it's gonna skyrocket and it's gonna be good.
Wow. Did you encounter any challenge when you are probably coding the game?
We had a really big challenge. We were basically done with the video game. It was ready to be released minus one component, which is key. We didn't have sound. Wow. And so, being as Kenyans as we are, you know, we wanted to promote talent because you're literally ourselves starting from nothing. So we wanted to get Kenyan artists who are not really that high profile, get their music in the game and, you know, like promote them in a way. So we went out searching for artists who had done good music and trying to incorporate their music videos, their music audios in the game. And now the thing about that is, Kenyans are not so generous as such, you know, because you're starting out with like zero capital, you know. So you're coming to like an artist and telling them, hi, how are you doing? You're good. So you want to put your music in our video game. You're not going to earn that much from it, but you're going to be marketed. And they'll be like, no, they want instant cash. You know. And that was a huge mountain for us to climb.
How did you overcome the challenge, by the way?
We opted for the easy option. We just went on YouTube and we searched for free and free copyright, the royalty free, and yeah, that's how we got the music for the game. And turns out it was amazing, you know, because we have guys actually complementing the audio bit of the game. For guys who are starting out, they should know that there are problems out there and you're gonna face them. So you have to have a plan B, you know. Yeah.
What inspires the coding, the story that you're telling in the particular games? What inspires them?
I'll be honest with you and tell you one thing.
Creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity comes from a lot of things.
Yeah.
Maybe from the things you watch, the things you hear, the things you encounter.
Yeah.
It might be funny, it might be interesting. So our creativity comes from the books we read, the videos we see on YouTube, the movie storylines. So we try to think along those lines and see what people actually want, like what the market actually would want to download.
Yeah.
Like if it's a flying game, you're looking at people watch this type of movies. So if we make a game of people flying planes, killing, shooting at each other, it's going to be viable in the market and people would want to download it.
Yeah, because to begin with, I'd actually come to you as a potential customer and ask you what type of a game you'd like to play. If you'd like to play a shooting game, that's what I'm going to make. If you want to play just a random game, I'm going to make it based on what you're going to give out your money for. Wow. You know, so that inspires us because they're actually making a business out of this.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, talking of making a business out of this, how do you intend to make money?
One way is through selling the game itself through the platforms. Two is by getting advertisements placed inside the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to emphasize on what he has said, just a word to anyone who owns a company or anything. Just enter Matatu. On your way to maybe Thika Super Highway, enter Matatu, stand at the front, and just look at the people who are on the phone that are like youthful, yeah?
Yes.
90% of the guys throughout the journey, they're not looking at billboards or supermarkets, they're on their phones. And so you need to find a way of getting your product from a billboard to the phone. and we are providing that platform. Yeah, for example, let's say I'm making a racing game, yeah, and you are in one car and you're supposed to overtake maybe a truck that's shipping a container. If I'd be able to label that container WTV, see that in-app advertising. Yeah, and that's what guys are going to notice because they're playing that game. They're not looking at billboards really. The generation is changing,
It's changing. And this is the new form of advertising.
This is the future.
Advertising is
Evolving.
Yeah.
Now, a quick one. Do you guys face any competition in this particular industry? Do you have competition?
Yeah, there's competition, but locally is not as much because the industry is at like the ground level. We're trying to build it up.
It's not yet cracked.
Yeah, it's not yet. No one has really made it like a huge breakthrough. No one has really made. But in Africa, generally, there are a couple of companies. Nigerians are really good in video games, actually. And South Africa.
Your current product, what is your current product currently?
Right after releasing Zofiri, we're now working on our second very interesting video game. It's a video game called Craving Carrots that's targeting the Android market, iPhone and Windows platforms. Now here's the thing about Craving Carrots. Craving Carrots is a game of its kind. I haven't seen a genre like that anywhere else. So the main idea is there's some carrots which are not normal carrots. They have a certain type of gene that when you eat these carrots, you mutate and you become a really huge person, and you can pretty much take over the world. Yeah, and so the World Health Organization, seeing this as a tricky situation, took all the carrots and they are stored somewhere. And so some wild, some terrorists and all those bad guys, we call them ninjas, they're out to get these carrots because they know once we have these carrots, we can take over the world. And so your main aim as a player is that you've been assigned with the task of protecting these carrots. So make sure these ninjas who are out to get your carrots do not get to them. Whatever it takes, you're using booby traps, you're shooting them down, you're literally slicing them. You know, it's a really interesting game. It's a fun game. Yeah.
Since Mekan was started, what lessons have you learned?
Personally, I've learned that for the Kenyan gaming market, you need to have like really powerful marketing tools. Because Kenyans, I've noticed that since our immediate market is the Kenyan market, Kenyans will talk a lot about something that's just, since a product is trending, they're going to talk about it. But having someone download it is an entirely different process. Guys are going to be like, oh, these guys have a game. They're going to spread it on social media. It's going to trend on Twitter. But when you look at the downloads, it's just not, they're not equal, you know.
They're not
and so, yeah.
the products.
In our products.
Yeah. Guys will do more of talking than actually playing the game, which is what we're actually intending. So what I've learned is that it's one thing getting guys to talk about a video game or your product. It's another thing getting them to use it.
Okay. And how can I access your products?
It's really simple. On any social media platform, just Google, just search for Mekan Games. We have our games on the Play Store, just Mekan Games. Our games will be there. Download them on our website, www.mekangames.com. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Mekan Games. We're there. From there, you can get our numbers, call us. You see how we can work around this.
And it's available for all operating systems?
Wings of Fury was short of the iPhone platform, but on Windows and Android, yeah, you're good.
Future plan, where do you see this company? Probably in 2 years, 3 years after school, probably 5 years from now, where do you see Mekan Games?
I mean, as much as not even seeing, but what we are really working towards is that we want Mekan Games, not, as you speak right now, we're just an independent group of guys working entirely on a project, no financial backup from anyone, but we're open to that. And making a video game and having it being released. But what we're looking to be in like 5 years is a fully fledged company. We call them AAA gaming companies. Guys who release huge titles like FIFA and Call of Duty and all those big games. That's actually where we are going. That's where we want to be. Where we're investing like a lot of money into a video game and we put it out there and have guys buy the game and making sure that the cash balances out and we can employ guys into this new industry. I'm sure by then it will be an entirely new industry. We'll have maybe a course in the university called video game development. You know, that's what we want.
This is in the entertainment sector at the same time.
Good. No, and all of them are still in the university.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Evans. Thank you, Abdi. Start with what you can. That is the key take that I've gotten from this inspiring story. After the break, how they were started, then later on as startups experts. Don't go away.